Hello everybody and welcome to What Israel Is. This is Avishai. A couple of months ago I started taking note of a content creator who got mentioned a lot by Twitter mutuals for his great work dismantling the alt-right. Those talking about him spared no superlative, and so I gave him a listen and was immediately alarmed. This man is a person who calls himself Mouthy Buddha, ostensibly a Buddhist and a part of a collective of YouTubers who are loosely affiliated. Call themselves at times the skeptic community. In his video about the alt-right, he claimed, in essence, that the fascist alt-right have perfectly valid concerns about morality and the way that morality is becoming subverted, and about minorities and minorities outshining in their numbers the white people, and conspiracies such as Jewish dominion of the West. And he also said that the only thing wrong with the alt-right is their attitude. In fact, he stated that the fascist alt-right is preferable to the so-called social justice warriors, because with them, at least their heart is in the right place and they've got the facts on their side. My concerns about the guy were only aggravated when I saw him post a poll on Twitter asking his followers whether they believe Jews to be unfairly overrepresented in government, media, etc. in America. And then he announced a series on the Jewish question, promising to deliver a so-called fair and balanced review of both sides as it relates to the idea that Jews are a nefarious cabal subverting the Western world with the end goal of global domination. I'm not going to go in depth about how absolutely wrong, morally, factually, and strategically the videos were. It's been done, and to a far greater degree of meticulousness than I can hope to achieve. In the fallout, however, of the wider attention given to Mouthy Buddha and his eerie content, many of his friends, supposed skeptics with a liberal lean, even though they unerringly promote right-wing politicians and policies, came to his defense, making paper-thin apologia for his style rather than content, and speaking about their personal acquaintance with the guy. And then he made a response in which he explained how he was veering farther and farther to the right, and how he was in essence an alt-righter, and how he found himself losing all empathy for non-whites. I could gloat, I suppose, about being early to sniff him out, but what's the point? I could say how cultural evolution made me better at recognizing these threats, but maybe it's not that. Maybe it takes one to know one. This is something I've spoken about in previous videos about the ethnic divide in Israel. I grew up a short, pasty, four-eyed blonde kid with an aversion to sports, a secular, blasphemous upbringing, and a love for nerdy stuff like history, fantasy, and art. I was bullied harshly throughout junior high. And while high school was better, instead of reveling in my improved circumstances, I ruminated in my wounds, and I became obsessed with my unfulfilled need for vengeance. It is then that I began putting a collective face on my tormentors. I was being told by newspapers and people on TV how strong I am and how nefarious, but I didn't feel strong at all, and I thought I was at the very least trying to be a good person. And the people who tormented me, all I was hearing were excuses, turning a blind eye, and explanations of how they were actually involved in a romantic struggle against me? What have I ever done to them? Bullshit. I knew this was wrong. My bullies didn't hate me because of some cooked up social studies narrative. They preyed on me because of what I was, and because I was weak and lonely. I became seething, hateful of Mizrahi Jews, because in them I saw my demons. In my hatred, I started drawing to me like-minded people, all slighted wallflowers like me. It was only my education and struggle to be decent that saved me from being consumed by this. It is that even in my most bigoted, resentful state, I could muster empathy for any individual and appreciate any individual for his character, his intellect, and his friendship. It was the sheer mass of expectations, sheer mass of exceptions to my vengeful rules, of people who defied my generalizing expectations, that finally tore my hateful walls down, that showed the cracks in my crackpot theories. Shutting yourself in Wonderland gets you secluded and strange, but there is no climbing up the rabbit hole, because there is no rabbit hole. It and Wonderland in its entirety is fiction, and only by challenging your perceptions with a dose of reality can you appreciate that you are partaking in a madman's tea party. Mouthy Buddha, I challenge you to speak to those people you feel no empathy for, to get a dose of their reality, to get to actually know them beyond what those theories that sound about right. Tell me if you're taking me up on my challenge. Until then, I wish all of you an awesome weekend, and I'll see you guys soon.